Hello, my Algebra 2 students. This is Miss Taz. I know many of you are still struggling on being able to write the vertex form of a quadratic equation. So I'm going to go through a few problems from the worksheet that many of you have already. You can always pause if you need to. So here we go. So here's the first problem. Again, you have this worksheet, so feel free to find it if you need to. I'm going to complete the square first, and then from there we will solve it. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides. So I have a squared plus 2a, and I'm going to put my blank there, equals 3. So this is my C value that I am looking for. So if that's my C value that I am looking for, then I need to find, here's B, so I need to take B and half it and square it in order to find the C value. So that means I'm going to do 2 divided by 2, which is 1, and square it. So that's going to give me 1. But what I do here, I have to do over here. So that leaves us now on this side with 4. And over here, we now have to complete the square. So if you recall on the front of your worksheet, we need to find this value right now, which is our D value. And the best way to find D is to do half of B. B is positive 2a, positive 2a, and so this would give us a positive 1. So there we go, we have that. Our last step into completing the square is to subtract 4 from both sides. And so now I have a plus 1 squared minus 4 equals 0. And if I just change that 0 to a y, I have my vertex form. And here is my equation. Okay, so now we're going to solve this equation. So if we go to solve this equation, the easiest way to solve it is to take this vertex form. So we're going to take this vertex form, a plus 1 squared minus 4. I'm going to set it back equal to 0. I'm going to add that 4 to both sides. So we have a plus 1 squared equals 4. I need to get into this a plus 1, so I got to get rid of that squared. So we're going to square root both sides. So now I have a plus 1 equals the square root of 4. We all know is, I know you're thinking 2, but I hope some of you said plus or minus 2. And now we need to subtract 1 from both sides. So I have negative 1 plus or minus 2. So the results give me negative 1 plus 2, which is going to give me 1. And I get negative 1 minus 2, which is going to give me negative 3. So those are our results. Those are our x-intercepts. Our x-intercepts. That's when it asks us to solve it. That's what we're looking for, our x-intercepts. Okay? All right, moving on. Okay, so this one's different because it has the 5 in front. So first we're going to set this equal to 0. So I'm going to move this 10 over. So I have 5v squared. I'm going to subtract the 10v from both sides. So I'm going to put this in order. So minus 10v minus 21 equals 0. As always, I need to get the constant by itself. So we have 5v squared minus 10v plus, not my plus blank, sorry, I got ahead of myself, equals 21. So because I have this 5 here, it's different. So I have to pull the 5 off. I need really a 1 in front of b squared. So as I pull the 5 off, I'm factoring it. I'm factoring a 5 off of b squared. So really I'm coming back and I'm dividing this guy by a 5. And so when I do that, I get b squared. And I'm dividing this guy by a 5. And when I do that, I'm getting negative 2v. And now I can put my blank in here. Okay? So this is kind of like a fake b and a fake c. That's kind of how I've been calling it. All right? So we take our fake b, divide it by 2, and square it. So negative 2 divided by 2 squared is 1. Now here's where a lot of students get messed up. This is not really a 1 that's here. This is really 5v squared minus 2v plus 5. This is really a plus 5 hanging out here. So this is 21, and then I have to add a 5. Remember, you have to balance your equations on both sides. So again, I had to multiply 5 times 1. That's not really a 1, it's 5 times 1. So over here I have a 26. Over here I have a 5. And now we are going to do b, and then we're going to have our blank. So this is our d value again. So here's our b divided by 2, so we're going to get minus 1. So we have to move the 26 over, so we have 5 times b minus 1 squared minus 26. Subtracted that 26 to the other side, equals 0. Change your 0 to a y, and you are done completing the square. Okay, don't forget this step up here. It's a different color. You can always come back to this video and you can come see me if that's still something that you're struggling with. Okay, let's solve it now. So I'm going to come back to this step where it's equal to 0, and we're going to solve. So b minus 1 squared minus 26 equals 0. Add the 26. So we have 5 times b minus 1 squared equals 26. We need to divide by 5 before we can square root. So I have b minus 1 squared equals some weird 26 divided by 5. And now I can take the square root. So now I have b minus 1 here. I have plus or minus the square root of 26 fifths, whatever that is. You can change that to a decimal if it gives you a cutoff decimal. And then I'm going to add 1 to both sides. So I get 1 plus or minus the square root of 26 fifths, which gives us 2 answers. Whatever those decimals are. I don't know what they are. But you guys can figure it out. You have calculators. Okay? Alright, so if you feel good about this, great. If not, I have one more example that I'm going to do with you. One more. Alright, here we go. So here's our last one. I wanted to do another one with an a value that is not 1. So here we go. We're going to add this 68. And so we're going to have 5n squared plus 19n equals, we're going to add that 68 over, so we're going to have a 66 hanging out over there. Now this is not going to be a pretty problem, so I need to take and factor the 5 off of this. So we're going to pull the 5 off of this. Remember, when I do that, I got to come back and divide this by 5 and this one by 5. Ooh, gross. Alright, so that's going to be n squared plus, 5 doesn't go into that, so I'm going to leave that as a fraction, like this, plus a blank. A calculator is going to be your friend right now. So I now am going to take my b value, 19 fifths, and I'm going to divide that by 2, and I am going to square it. So I'm going to divide it and square it. So I change that into a decimal. which is 3.61. Now remember, that's not what I actually have here. This is really 5n squared times 5 times 19/5, and 5 times 3.61, which is now 18.05 over on this side. So I get that. I'm doing this on a whim with you guys. I shouldn't have done that, but it is what it is. So hopefully I did this right. Alright, so we get this. Now we're going to do our D value. So I have to take my B. Remember, this is our D. And I got to take my B and divide it by 2. So it's 19 divided by 5. And I got to divide that by 2. And so that's going to give me positive 1.9. So now I just need to subtract that over. So it's going to be 5n plus 1.9 squared minus 84.05 equals 0. But then I'm just going to change that to a y value. Okay? So this is the vertex form completing the square. Now I've shown you twice now already how to solve the equation, so I'm not going to do that with this one. And I hope these are helpful for you if you are still struggling with this lesson. Have a good day. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.